Wow. I can't believe our government, neither can anybody else. The world should know we don't support Netanyahu. We understand that Netanyahu is a Zionist, Ashkenazi, Jewish persona, and his priorities are the same as the past. So he will continue to fight, expand his fences out. That's what he's always done. Israel was not that big, and then, oh, we're going to put the fence 50 miles out all the way around the city, and then 5 years later he had to move it out another 10 miles, and then a year later another 10 miles. And each time the West Bank gets smaller and smaller by massive areas, considering it's only the size of Simcoe County. Imagine all that firepower coming in on Simcoe County. It's terrible what's happening. And as Canadians on a whole, I do not believe that we support Netanyahu. We don't. Anybody who associates with me on a level of empathetic human beings, as Canadians, we do not support what Netanyahu is doing. Nor do we support Justin Trudeau's doings when he claims that Canadians back this behavior and this doing. He's talking out his ass. When they come on the TV and they say, oh, 15 Canadians were killed, we're talking about tourism citizenship. Lebanese people who came here, got a Canadian citizenship, went home, saw the atrocious wrongdoings in their country, and decided to say, I'm a Canadian citizen now, so you can't treat me like that despite your Lebanese law. Haha. You know, bringing the Canadian Constitution home. And then Trudeau says, well, there's 15 Canadians, so we gotta go and fight a war. There wasn't 15 born Canadians killed. There was 15 citizens of Lebanon who got citizenships in Canada when they came here for a 2-month visit. And that's who he's claiming are the Canadian citizens. We're being played. And it's horrible. And I mean not to make their deaths any less. It's still a crime. Horrific. The reality is, Gaza finally fucking has their oil field, liquid natural gas fields ready to expand, make enough money to look after themselves, and everything will be okay. But suddenly, Justin Trudeau and Joe Biden, this is what happened. Justin Trudeau sold all of the liquid natural gas and oil that Canada has for the next decade. Joe Biden did the same, made deals with all of these countries. And these countries came back to the table and said, well, we'll give you more fucking money, but we want a deal like, what about 10 years from now? And there's Trudeau making deals with these people and taking all this fucking money. But he's making deals years, decades into the future for these people to keep taking the oil. They've given him the money, he's spent it, so we can't even reclaim the money from oil sales in the future because the oil's already fucking sold. So, Justin Trudeau needs to find himself a new source of oil. Joe Biden has to find himself a new source of liquid natural gas and oil because they've marketed so hard on American and Canadian liquid natural gas and oil, they cannot get it out of the ground fast enough to satisfy how many people's money they've taken. So they need more. So the two places where there is massive amounts of liquid natural gas and oil, and they are weak and warily defended, are the Ukraine, Palestine, all of North Africa, but you know, Traor just stood up to everybody, and there's nobody going and stealing oil from Africa no more. You know. So now we have all these Venezuelan criminals coming in. The only other source they have for liquid natural gas and oil that's cheap is Venezuela. And now we have hundreds, 100,000 Venezuelans running rampant in Canada and U.S. There's too much, and the borders got to be open, floodwaters, blah, blah, blah. Convenient to broadcast that to the world. Conveniently broadcasted to the world as soon as the gates were opened by CNN. Nothing makes any sense. This world's crazy. Hang on to your hats, it's about to get wild. Justin Trudeau, he's got to go. We can clearly see he's a criminal. I mean, the police see that he's a criminal. The House Speaker sees he's a criminal. The House Speaker stopped him and said, listen, I can't let you go and do another $13 billion worth of corrupt business. You got to give out the paperwork, man, for the last crimes. If you don't give out the paperwork, we're going to have to deal with it. And thank you, Greg Fergus. You may have saved our country, if it's not too late. God bless you all. And hang in there. Keep your head up.